Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's topic. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Rougarou. It is about the Louisiana swamp werewolf. Now, Gary chose this topic, and so I really think it's going to be quite interesting to get to the bottom of this. But before we start, ladies and gentlemen, I must warn you that if we go off air very quickly, it is due to the lightning storm that we are having tonight. So if all of a sudden my live feed ends, that is why, and I will continue to say this throughout the night. Hello, morning, and good evening to you. So far, we have only got one person on. Maybe the storm has scared everybody else. Good day, Lara. Okay, so that is what's going to be happening, is that if I go off air very quickly, it is due to the electric storm that we are having tonight. So tonight we are talking about the Rougarou. This is a werewolf from Louisiana, and Gary decided to choose this topic tonight. I've never ever heard of it. So that's the topic for tonight. Rougarou, werewolf, a folklore from Louisiana. Good evening, Tammy. So that's what our topic about is tonight. Don't forget, I'll say it again, if I go off air very quickly tonight, it is due to the electrical storm that we're having tonight. We will have to unplug everything here, including the Wi-Fi. So don't think that I'm being rude or anything like that, because I'm not. It is just because I am keeping my equipment very safe by unplugging it. So let's get right down to it. We take a wild ride through the folklore of Louisiana as we try to determine just what a Rougarou or loup-garou is. Cryptozoology reports throughout the area point to several possibilities, all ending with monster tales of fantastic creatures. Let's see what we can discern from this mayhem. Alrighty, no matter how you spell it, the Rougarou, Rocks, Rougarou, or loup-garou is a werewolf-type creature living in the folklore of Cajun French, Louisiana. Didn't know that they had French in Louisiana, but they do. The story was born in France in medieval times when they actually believed in werewolves. These stories were used to keep children in line and out of the woods. Later in the 16th century, Persian people viewed the phenomena of the Rougarou as a genetic disorder rather than something you could catch from someone else or be cursed into by a witch. Okay, so it started off as just trying to keep all the kids out of the woods, try to scare the kids pretty much. But now they're saying that it was also a person who could be cursed into by a witch. According to this genetic version, a person's life would be normal until whatever happened to trigger the condition turned on. The person's body then enlarged and they developed a craving for raw meat. In order to complete the final transformation, the person, Rougarou, had to take a bite of human flesh. It's interesting. Hey Diana, how you doing? So, let's go back again. According to this genetic version, a person's life would be normal until whatever happened to trigger the condition turned on. So for this person to turn into a werewolf or rougarou or whatever the frig you want to call it, there's many names to it. The condition itself had to be turned on, so there must be an off-on switch somewhere. Tammy, you say like a boogeyman or werewolf. Okay, so it had to be, the condition had to be turned on. So obviously there's an on and off button. Sounds pretty out of it to me. Okay, I'll go back to it then. Later in the 16th century, I'll repeat myself one more time. Later in the 16th century version, people viewed the phenomena of the rougarou as a genetic disorder rather than something you could catch from someone else or be cursed into by a witch. According to this genetic version, a person's life would be normal until whatever happened to trigger the condition turned on. The rougarou, a French legend. Well, it's actually, to be honest with you, Moringa, it is actually the folklore of Cajun French Louisiana. Okay, the story, yes, was born in France, but it somehow got to Louisiana in America. The person's body then enlarged and they developed a craving for raw meat. In order to complete the final transformation, the person slash rougarou had to take a bite of human flesh. Okay, so it's saying that the person's body then enlarged and they developed a craving for raw meat. Well, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I've been to a lot of restaurants where people have brought steak that are still kicking. Yeah, but they are craving for raw meat, Mum. In order to complete, so you're not listening, in order to complete the final transformation, the person or the rougarou had to take a bite of human flesh. Before then, all they are craving is raw meat. You go to any restaurant and people are eating raw steak, really. It's still kicking. Are they rougarous too? Here they are, ladies and gentlemen, saying that the person or the rougarou craves for raw meat, but in order to complete the final transformation, the person or the rougarou had to take a bite of a human flesh. So, which means that if they could hold off from that craving, they wouldn't transform into this rougarou or into this werewolf, whatever you want to call it. Tammy, you say. So it's around voodoo. Well, let's find out. Good evening, Annie. Good to see you in here. Let's find out, Tammy. We'll keep on going, eh? As the French set sail and settled Quebec in Canada and later Louisiana in the American South, the story came with them and mutated. In modern times, throughout Cajun Louisiana, the beast has developed several consistent characters or characteristics. It's described as standing between 7 to 8 feet tall, has horrible sharp teeth and glowing red eyes. It becomes its animal form on the night of the full moon. It could be anyone, neighbor, librarian, dentist. With all the storms and flooding in recent years, it's thought the beast made its way into the city. New Orleans. Oh, well, now we're talking. New Orleans is the home of voodoo. New Orleans is the home of a lot of things in the Deep South, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't know much about New Orleans, I suggest that you figure that one out, jump on Google and read about New Orleans. That place is one creepy town. I'd love to go there. Because some city residents claim they have heard terrifying growls at night, cited on the TV show Destination Fear. The legend and folklore. According to Professor Barry Jean Axley, an expert in Cajun folklore at the University of Louisiana Lafayette, the legend of the Rougarou is common throughout the area. He reiterated that the story originated in medieval France and was thought to be a tale told to children to keep them away from the woods. The story followed the French settlers to Louisiana and was further buoyed by French Canadians migrating down to New Orleans within the last couple hundred years. So that's how it all started. It's all started just as a story to scare the kids, to make sure that the kids listened and wouldn't go into the woods. And so here's these French migrants. They come to America and they travel from Quebec, Canada, all the way down to the south into Louisiana. And that's where the story started to change. It started to change big time. Now all of a sudden, we have this so-called Rougarou werewolf. Now we need to see if it's true or if it's fake. Have you got a pic of the Rougarou? Hang on, Tammy, I will just look it up. That is what they are saying it looks like. Can you all see that? Can you all see it or no? Can you all see that? Annie, Tammy, you've asked for a pic. I'm holding it up. Can you let me know when you see it, please? Big time scary place. Yeah, New Orleans is, and I would love to go there. Okay, that is what they are saying the Rougarou looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Hey. Evening, Brandon. How you doing? Okay, so that's what they are saying, ladies and gentlemen, the Rougarou looks like. So it cruises down from Louisiana all the way down to New Orleans. Now, they said over the floodings that they believe it ended up in the cities because people have been hearing it in the cities itself, and it was actually cited on the TV show Destination Fear. So it must be true because it was actually cited on a TV station, on a TV program. But did they really cite it, or did they just have a recording where they actually heard something growl and all of a sudden it is what it is? Gully, you said go live, you neighbour? Okay, and love your neighbour. Hi neighbour, miss you. Oh, okay. Stacey just yakking. Okay, Professor Anslet indicated that the rougarou is said to prowl the swamps of the bayous of Louisiana, as well as the areas around New Orleans itself. He added that it has the body of a man and the head of a wolf or a dog. Besides using the tails to keep children in line, it was also used as a way to keep Catholics in line. Wow. There is a story that goes if you don't observe the strict rules of Lent for 7 years in a row, you'll automatically turn into rougarou. So now here we are, we've got this story of the French starting this all off in France just to keep the kids in line. It was just to scare them so they wouldn't get into the forest and that they would listen. Then they migrated to Quebec, Canada, and migrated from Quebec, Canada, all the way down to Louisiana and into New Orleans, down south in the big south of America. Now it's gone from keeping the children in line to keeping the Catholics in line. By saying that there is a story that goes, if you do not observe the strict rules of Lent for 7 years in a row, you're automatically turned into a rougarou. Are we seeing a pattern here, ladies and gentlemen? Turning into a rougarou. In one article, Professor Anslet mentioned that sometimes a person became a rougarou voluntarily, while at other times the person was cursed. Another source claims that the eyes must be avoided because if you look into them, the curse is passed on to you and you become a rougarou. And this is what cryptozoology professors talk about. I mean, serious, ladies and gentlemen, is this even real? What I'm actually seeing is that somebody has taken a story and has made it into something that it really isn't, and now it's become paranormal because they can't explain. It's unnatural. It's not normal. What is it? Is it human? Is it a dog? Is it a werewolf? It's unexplainable, but they put it into the category of that is paranormal. For me, after reading this, ladies and gentlemen, I put this as a bedtime story. So I'm not getting it. Sounds a myth. Sounds more than a myth, Lara. I would not put this in the paranormal category, but I'm not the one that wrote about it. This cryptozoology dude put this into the paranormal box. It started off as a story to scare kids in France, to make sure that they listened, to make sure that they never went into the forest. Then they migrated from France to Quebec, Canada, where they still talk French there. And then they decided that they were going to go from Quebec, Canada to Louisiana in America, which is down in the deep south, from there to New Orleans, which is one hell of a scary place. Seriously, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not heard about New Orleans, then you really need to figure that one out. Kaiser, how you doing? So, but this cryptozoology guy, he's put this in the paranormal. Gary asked if we can discuss about it, so we're going to talk about it tonight. A rougarou, werewolf, whatever you want to call it. Okay, yet another version of the legend states that the person is under the spell of the rougarou for 101 days. If and when the rougarou draws the blood of its next victim, the curse transfers to that victim, and the current person is released from the curse. They remain weakened and a bit sickly from the experience, and they never speak of it for shame as well as the fear of being killed. Now, this reminds me of the movie A Werewolf in London. Folktale to myth to voodoo, Catholic belief. It's going everywhere, Tammy. It really is. It's going everywhere. It's going from a story being told in France to little children to scare the shit out of them so they'd bloody listen, to transferring it from just a story time or a warning to kids to a freaking werewolf that roams in America now. But it also is a story that kept Catholics in line. Watch Bad Bird, the creature the person talks about is similar description. Interesting, Kelly. No, but I'll find it. I would be interested to actually watch it. So here we go. Then they turned it into, oh, hang on. No, we ain't going to go there yet. Still other versions describe the rougarou as a type of headless horseman now, resulting from the curse of a witch. Okay, so we've gone from a dog head to a werewolf head, now to a headless horseman, resulting from the curse of a witch. In this scenario, only a witch can make a rougarou by either turning into a wolf herself or cursing others with lycanthropy, where one believes oneself to be a werewolf. Now they're talking about lycans, so now we're talking about the Underworld movie. Anyone watch that series? You know, you had Underworld 2, and then The Rise of the Lycans. I can't remember what the part 2 was. But part 3 was called Rise of the Lycans. So now somebody's been watching that movie. You know? Yeah, OMG, Headless Horseman now. So we've gone from a dog to a werewolf to a headless person. I think somebody's been in Hollywood far too long and smoked a bit of fucking ganja. Or smoked some New Orleans kind of booty fucking drug. Who knows? But there we go. Okay, so now, here we go. An American screenwriter and filmmaker, Glenn Petrie, has another version of how one becomes a rougarou. In this scenario, a person commits a transgression of some sort, and then they become a rougarou. He also stated that outcasts in the community or somewhat eccentric people often became objects of suspicion, the idea being that they are probably a rougarou. So if you're homeless now, you're a rougarou. Not only if you're homeless, but now you're a headless rougarou. Rides a horse. All right, hang on a minute. No, you've got a body of a human, but you've got a head of a dog or a wolf. Can they make up their mind, ladies and gentlemen? What is it? Is it a half human with a wolf head or with a dog head? Or is it a human body with no head that rides around on a horse? Or is it a homeless person? I mean, where are they coming up with all this garbage? And yet, ladies and gentlemen, they have thrown this into the paranormal basket. Lana, good evening. So you're a homeless, headless wolf. Hang on a minute, Diana. You might be a homeless, headless dog. And they make up their mind what this Rougarou is meant to be. This shouldn't even be in the paranormal basket. It really shouldn't be. What kind of crap is this? And I'm going to say it straight out because it is crap. They've given us how many descriptions now? It's a half a human with a wolf head. Hang on a minute. No, it's a half a human with a dog head. No, hang on a minute. It's a half a human body with no head and rides around on a horse. No, hang on a minute. It's a homeless person. Are they serious right now? I mean, truly, are they serious that someone is going to read this garbage and people are going to buy it? Hey, Nene, how you doing? Do they really believe that someone is going to pay attention to this crap? Seriously. But we're going to carry on reading on anyway. So, let's carry on, people. How do we get all these variations? Oral tradition. The problem with oral tradition is that they can be altered over time, and they seem to change from region to region. Hence, we get 101 versions of the more or less same story. So what they're really saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that somebody started a bullshit story and somebody carried it on but changed it to their own version, and then before you know it, you've got I don't know, a homeless, headless wolf. What the hell? So, in other words, it's a bullshit story. It's a mongrel. Yeah, just like Mum's just saying right now. It's Chinese whispers, passed on and changed. I could say to one of you, say for example, Tammy. I could just say to Tammy, "Oh, Tammy, tomorrow I'm flying to Australia." And she could tell her mate, "Oh, John was saying that he's flying to Australia and he's going to go do some investigations." Her mate can go to her mate and say, "Oh, Tammy told me that John's flying to Australia to do investigations in a real haunted house." And then her mate is going to carry on the story. And then their mate's going to carry on the story, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Or I could say to Lara, Lara, I'm going to go to Noel Leeming's tomorrow and I'm going to go buy me 45-inch TV. It's a smart TV and I need it for my room and it's just the right size. And Lara could be sitting there having a cup of coffee and she could say, "Oh, John's going into Noel Leeming's tomorrow and he's going to buy a smart TV." And whoever she's told will be ringing her mate going, "Hey, guess what? John's going to go and buy a 60-inch TV for his bedroom and he's going to put all the gadgets on it." And then her mate saying, "Hey, guess what? Apparently there's an 80-inch TV in Noel Leeming and that guy John, he's going to go and buy it tomorrow and all the gadgets come with it." You see what I'm getting at, ladies and gentlemen? Stories. Crap stories that start from there, and grows and grows and grows and grows. And it keeps on going and going and going. And it keeps changing to different versions. So before you know it, That 45-inch TV that I've decided to go and buy at Noel Leeming's has now gone from a 45-inch to a 100-inch. With all the gadgets on it, and probably got the Blu-ray and surround sound and all that. But yet, this cryptozoology dude has actually put this story in to the paranormal basket because it's unknown. How can it be unknown if you read it? It turns into crap right at the get-go. Yeah, but we don't know about the Bigfoot. Apparently that has been seen. Apparently there's photos out there. Apparently there's documentaries about it. But
Bigfoot might have been a Rougarou.
So anyway, let's carry on. Okay, the same is true when we consider the legends of the Native Americans. Native American view on Rougarou. The Native Americans had a legend of a creature called the Wendigo. Artist rendition on the right. Yeah, well, it looks like a werewolf to me. Probably not accurate. The story goes that these beasts had been human at one time, but they resorted to cannibalism and transformed into Wendigo. A fictionalized version of the story by Algernon Blackwood asserts that one only has to see a Wendigo to turn into one. But the Native American maintained that one must resort to cannibalism to turn into a Wendigo. It's interesting to see that even fiction can alter an oral tradition and get some of the details wrong, thus adding to the confusion. Oh my gosh, really?
Which is just what we said.
Can be confusing. I'm confused just reading this. I mean, we've gone from a human body with either a wolf head on it or a dog's head. Then we've gone from there to a headless horseman. How do we know it was a headless horseman? Could have been a headless woman. Then we've gone from werewolf head to dog head to no head to homeless. And it's confusion. One says that you only have to drink the blood or taste the flesh of a human and then you turn into one. Now they're saying that you got to be a cannibalism to turn into one. Then they say you just have to look into the eyes of one and you turn into one. And they say that this is adding to the confusion. Seriously. Okay? Very seriously. But over time, the Indian tribes developed their own story of the Rougarou through oral tradition, which characteristics ranged from a Bigfoot type creature all the way to a full-blown Wendigo cannibal. So now we're looking at a Bigfoot type creature, and all of a sudden it turns into a full-blown Wendigo cannibal. Really? I'm getting more confused about reading this garbage as we go along, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm just not getting it. Yeah, where is Gary, the one that made this? Let's see what else we can find about the Rougarou. Let's go to a history. Here we go. History of the Rougarou, Louisiana's werewolf. The full moon hangs high over the Louisiana swampland. The bright lights of the stars flicker in the murky licks of the waves near the towering ominous. Cypress trees, frogs croak their songs in the distance, and mosquitoes buzz as they fly around looking for their next meal. There's a howl in the near distance. It sounds like a wolf, but something's a little off. Standing on two legs on top of a fallen moss-covered tree is a large, snarling beast. It throws its head back, letting out a blood-curdling howl to the moon. That's no werewolf, though. That's what we in Louisiana call the rougarou. That's what I call a Gary trying to fart. What's his view? Has he seen one? I'm going to, look, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ring Gary and say to him, hey, dude, why are you not here? And I'll see. Yeah, and I'll see if this guy wakes up, if he's awake. And I'll bet you anything, ladies and gentlemen, he's actually asleep. Here we go. I'm ringing this dude, waking him up. So while we wait for Gary to answer, we'll keep going. When traveling down the interstate or the back roads in Louisiana, you'll see lots of beautiful scenery. Yo, dude. Gary. Did I just wake you, Gary? Brother Gary, where you at? Now his video's playing up. No, because it cuts it out. So I'm trying to find out what the story is with Gary, and maybe he is. Maybe that's why he's asleep. He had a rough night. Okay, he's refusing to answer the phone call, so I'll just message him. Oh, here we go. Brother Gary, we have a problem here. You need to come into the Paranormal Unity live video, and you need to explain this rougarou. Okay, so we're dogman, horseman, headless, homeless. It's not sure what it is exactly. People say there is a dogman type creature in the Tararua regions. Chinese whispers or real? I don't know. No, maybe you fellas need to go in there and have a search around with the body of a Bigfoot. Yeah, don't forget that. Gary, my brother from another mother. We're having issues with your topic, so you need to come online and you need to explain. He's having bad connections. So what I'll do is just say, come into the room. And explain your topic. Okay, so right now we've had how many descriptions of the so-called rougarou? We've had a man that either has a wolf head, a dog head, no head, rides on a horse, homeless, and now looks like Bigfoot. And yet it carries on, and all of it all began in France, and all it was a story to scare children, to keep them in line. Not only was it a story to keep children in line, but they used it to keep Catholics in line. That if you didn't carry on doing Lent for 7 years, you turned into this rougarou. It was just a story, a made-up story. Gary, You need to explain your topic for tonight, dude. The Rougarou, okay? Started off what we found off. It started off in France to scare the kids. Then it moved from France to Quebec, Canada. Then they migrated from Quebec, Canada, all the way up to Louisiana and to New Orleans. Now we've had many descriptions of this Rougarou, and I'll bring you up to scratch, Gary. Here are the descriptions. One, it had a human body, but it had the head of either a dog or a wolf. Then it went from there to a headless horseman. Then it went from headless horseman to homeless. Now it's gone from homeless to Bigfoot. Now Nene is saying that it is now in the Tararuas. You know, I've seen a lot of big mouths that may look like a Rougarou, hairy like a Rougarou, but are they a Rougarou? You know? But that's how it works. You know, it starts off with stories. Okay? Somebody starts a story off. Once upon a time, in the deepest forest of France lived this Rougarou. And if children went into this forest, they would be eaten by the Rougarou. Then they moved from Quebec, Canada, and they traveled all the way. Oh, here we go. The Rougarou is a Louisiana bayou werewolf that would eat children or anyone who crossed them in their human form or just simply cross their path while they are transformed. Okay, so here we have, Gary, a French story. Okay, it's where it started from, my brother. Yeah, tonight is funny, actually, Nene. I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking, what the, you know? Oh, you know, Tammy, yeah, I love my brother with all my heart, and he knows it, but I'm really got to take the mickey out of his ass tonight. So, Gary, here we have the story, okay? Started in France. It was to scare the kids, give them frights. Then these cats moved from France to Quebec, Canada. From Quebec, Canada, they moved to Louisiana and into New Orleans. That's when the big story started up. So here's the description of your Rougarou there, my brother. It was a human form with either a dog head or a wolf head. Then it went from a dog head, wolf head to no head, which became a headless horseman. Then it went from a headless horseman to a homeless one. Then it went to a Bigfoot. Okay, not only is it in Louisiana swamplands, but it is now, according to Nene, in the Tararuas, right here in New Zealand. It's in the Tararuas. So her and Lara are going to take a trip to the Tararuas and they're going to go find this Rougarou. But you don't have to go to the Tararuas. What they beats the desert road goat, man. You don't need to go to the Tararuas to find a Rougarou, okay? You don't. There's many of them here in Wanganui, okay? There's a lot here in Wanganui. There's probably a lot in the world. Louisiana was colonized by mostly French people. Yeah, and there you go, bro. You know, that's where it all started from. But you've given us something to... Yeah, you've got to admit, I mean, if you haven't read about it, dude, check it out, because you will crack up laughing. Mum wants to know if you've actually seen a Rougarou or seen a true photo of one. Well, you know, he could be smart and say, yeah, Ma, I have every time I go into the mirror and shave this face. See, I mean, you know, all males, they end up letting their facials go. They look like a freaking Rougarou too. Well, he probably is 7 foot tall. I haven't met him yet. You know, he could be towering over me. But the thing is this, it starts off What's that? I didn't know my ex lived there, bro. Well, I'll tell you what, Gary. I think Nene and Lara will find out for you if your ex is here, because they're going to go and check it out in the Tararuas and see if they can find it for you. And that's how it all begins, okay? It's a story. That's all it is, ladies and gentlemen. Just a folk story to scare people. But like I said, and like many of you said tonight, it's like Chinese whispers. I'm telling Lara that I'm going to go and buy a 45-inch TV for my TV. She tells somebody that I'm going to, for my bedroom. She tells someone that I'm going to go into Noel Leemings and buy me a smart TV. Her mate says, oh, John's going to go buy a 50-inch smart TV with all the gadgets, and then so on and so on and so on. And by the time it gets back to me, I'm going to buy a 100-inch TV with a Blu-ray DVD surround system with all the mod cods on it, plus DVDs. When all I said was, I'm going to go and buy a 45-inch smart TV. Someone needs to draw it and post it onto the main page. Tammy, you also say he's just describing his ex. Well, you know, dude, if your ex was as hairy as what they described the Rougarou as, damn, bro. Seriously, you must have went through a shitload of razors to shave her down. Gary, you say, oh no, I haven't seen one in person, and any pictures I've seen are blurry as hell. Sounds like one of my ex, Gary. You know, seriously. No, you say, OMG, I'm in Tararua now. Well, you better take a shotgun with you and some razors. Because if it's Gary's ex, you're going to have to shave them down. No, you also say, and a couple bodyguards as me and you will get lost. You better take some bloody, some guides with you then, if that's the case. But see how Chinese whispers start. Turn off the lights, brother. LOL. Oh, I love you. Hey, I'm not the one who described my ex, bruh. You did. You know, you say, I'm telling you, you must have went through a shitload of razors that time. So that's how stories start. You know, it all started off with just parents scaring their children. Like the boogeyman, you know, if you don't go to sleep, kids, the boogeyman's going to come and get you. Eat you up. Rah. Bodyguards, nah, a flare beacon and GPS with a camera. That's all we need. No, you need a camera with Wi-Fi, Lara, with Wi-Fi so we can watch you. And that's how it all starts. Nah, wax. Yeah, shitload of wax, brother. Okay, like that, what was that Witch Project movie? Yeah, the Blair Witch Project. You need cameras like that, Lara, if you guys are going to go out to the Tararua. But I want it done on a Wi-Fi camera so we can watch that shit. No, John, come hunt Gary's head. I don't know the way he's describing it. No, I don't know if I really want to run into her. You know? We're going to have to take a lot of razors with us or a lot of wax so we can pin her down and then wax her up and bring her back to Gary. Just got to teach her how to talk. But can you see how stories start? Satellites are better, yeah, they probably are, Lara. See how stories start. Yeah, well, you know, the Rougarou was only in France and America. Now it's in New Zealand and the Tararuas. Hey, what a deal. No, me neither. She will be hearing yes. Tell me about it. shave it, wax it, burn it. Oh, that's funny. But see how stories start, ladies and gentlemen. You tell one person something, they tell the person a different kind of story, or they add on to it, and then that person adds on to that story, and before you know it, it's blown apart and people start believing it. What's this? Tammy English, you say he'll find her too sexy. Who will? Gary will. Because I'm sorry, but I don't like my woman hairy, thank you. That ain't cool.
No, don't do it. You lose more
Lara goes, comb it, part it, tied in ribbons. Man, if we could pin it down, then it's all good. No, don't do it, John. You'll lose more than your eyesight. Oh, bro. Nay, and run. Tammy, you say, oh, bet she's a gorgeous beast. Actually, I used to know a female Rougarou, and she was a mean one hell of a bee. And she's still trying to be one hell of a mean bee to me. You know, she really up my life, still trying to f my life up. And she don't live in no Tararua. She lives here in Wanganui. But I mean, you know, we can joke about this, ladies and gentlemen. The fact of the matter is that you are going to come across sometimes in the paranormal some real bullshit stories. Telling you, some real bullshit stories. And if you don't really understand the paranormal, if you're really not clued up with the paranormal, you're going to think if you ever come across the story of the Rougarou is that it's true. Silver is the only way to put them down, bro. Okay? Seriously. Hey, Kelly Rutherford. It is up to the individual whether they want to believe it or not. And I'm grateful for Gary that he gave us this topic tonight because it does prove, and there ain't no debunking it or disproving it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, you will come across some really crap stories. Okay, it's like, for example, here's another Chinese whisper it can kick off. I could ring Lara up and say, hey, Lara, guess what? I went out to an investigation last night, but I'm not sure what I got on my EVPs. And then I could be talking to Tammy, and I could say to Tammy, hey, I did an investigation last night, and I got some really awesome photos, but there's one photo that stands out. It's not really clear about that. I'm not sure, and I might have to give it to someone to look at. Lara's telling her people, or one of her friends, John had an investigation last night. He got this awesome EVP. Her mate turns around and says, hey, this dude, John, this paranormal guy, he went out and he did this thing about the paranormal, and he got this this voice, this EVP, and it was a real fucking out of it one. And then that person will say, oh, he got this EVP and it was really scary and it was threatening. And in the meantime, Tammy's telling her mates, hey, John went out and he did an investigation and he got this apparition on camera. That person is now telling someone else, John got this awesome apparition. It was a guy, a big guy, about 10 foot tall. And then that person is telling that person another story, and that 10-foot tall person has grown from 10 foot to 20 foot. And it was a shadow. Okay? Larry, you guys shoot at home kill. Yeah, no thanks. You can eat that shit. As you can see how Chinese whispers starts. Okay? It started so badly that it actually went into the box of paranormal. For me, I don't understand why, but okay. Somebody thought it was a great thing to
Hey,
do.
Gary's coming again.
He gave us his Rougarou. He gave us bloody something, Tammy. That's for real. Gary, you say, I know something's out there. Is it every single story that I've heard about the Rougarou? Not by a long shot. But there's something out in those swamps. And you know what, Gary, you saying that, I really have to believe that there is, because, I mean, your swamps are freaking spooky, dude. And, you know, you live there. And I can guarantee that if I could find other people that live in Louisiana and ask them about their swamps, they would probably turn around and say, dude, don't even go in there. I mean, I know you guys have probably got crocs in there and alligators and gosh knows what else. But a Rougarou? Yeah, I don't think so, bro. I think, you know, we've knocked that one on the head tonight,
Well, he's changed too
eh?
often. He's changed too often in the story.
Yeah, and it does. It changes quite often. It's gone from a wolf head or a dog head to a horseman, headless horseman, to a homeless person, to a Bigfoot. Big ass crocs, yeah, I bet. If I was going to go in there, Tammy, it wouldn't be with a little dinghy, that's for real. I would be going in there with a big ass ship. And I mean a big ass one like the Titanic. Talking about the Titanic, ladies and gentlemen, talking about that, let's get away from the Rougarou. Tammy brought up something awesome today when we were having this discussion. Why is there not investigations about spirits of whales, sharks, fish?
Oh,
And I,
yeah.
you know,
Any
and
animal.
I thought that was an awesome question, because there are spirits of our animals. We know there are spirits of people. Why can there not be spirits of whales, sharks, all those things that swim in the ocean? Or even this, better this one, ghostly ships. You know, we've all heard of the Flying Dutchman. All of us apparently are seen in certain times of the year. Why is there no investigations into those? And I thought, you know, that was a brilliant, brilliant question. So, you know, I'm going to look into it about ghost ships. Why isn't there enough investigations to be done with them? You know, why has no one ever gone to where the Titanic went down and did an investigation there? Why hasn't anyone actually stayed on a ship, turned the whole ship off, like completely off, to where there's no noise, no nothing, and sat on the bow or on the starboard and did an EVP? You know, why? Why forget those kinds of entities? Yeah, it probably would be super expensive to investigate spirits in the ocean, bro. It probably would. But the question that I'm asking is this: why has no one ever bothered? I mean, everyone talks about the Titanic and how it sunk. People, you know, go to the Titanic Museum and they say that they hear voices and they see shadows, and they, you know, they hear a lot of stuff going on. But why not go on one of those ships that actually go down to the Titanic? Why not switch everything off on that ship and sit there on the bow or on the, what is it, the stern? See, I'm not a ship person. And do an EVP. Yeah, the Queen Mary. That's another one. That's one I'm planning on
They did
going.
one in the Queen Mary.
We forget about our history, ladies and gentlemen, is what we do. Believe it or not, we forget about our history. Let's go back to Gallipoli, World War One, World War Two,
Oh,
the Boer War, Vietnam. Why has nobody gone to those places
Gettysburg's the only one that does it.
and done EVPs there? Who?
Gettysburg.
You know, I would love, if I could, to visit all those places and get the best EVPs. The Queen Mary, I would love to do that place. I would love to do that ship. Apparently, that is one of the most haunted ships in America, apparently. And Gary, I'll get that list to you ASAP, bro. I've just been going over things and thinking about it, so you'll be able to get the prices for us. Yeah, Ghost Adventures did it, so did Ghost Hunters.
Freedom Make tomorrow night.
Patrick Clark, you say, hey, let's spend 100,000 to record noise on a sunken ship. No one would spend that. That's not what I'm saying, Gary. Patrick. What I'm saying is, why doesn't anyone actually sit on a ship where the Titanic sunk and try to see if they could get EVPs, like, for example, screams of the dead screaming when they were in the water, things like that. You know, the last minutes. Why has no one ever has ever gone to Auschwitz? No, they haven't. They've never been able to. You know, why has nobody ever gone to Auschwitz? The gas camps, the concentration camps, the kill camps, the death camps, whatever you want to name them. Why has no one ever gone into Chernobyl when you are actually allowed to go in there now and sat there and done an EVP? You know, are they forgotten memories? Or is it that we find it just easier to go into buildings and do it? Yeah, I know, I just read that. What do you mean I keep forgetting, bro? What is it that I forget? Yeah, I'm with you, Tammy. I'd love to go to the most dangerous death camp that they ever had, which they named as Auschwitz. Sensitive situations. Yeah, you're correct, Lara, it is. Tammy, Jack cursing Rose as there was enough room on that bloody door. Yeah, well, you see, she lied in that movie, you know, and I'm still pissed off about that, Tammy, you know. She was holding on to Jack's hand and she's going, I'll never let you go, Jack. I'll never let you go. And she's ripping her hand out of his hands and letting him go. You know? There was enough room on that freaking door and yet she let him go. No, I'm going to send you that list, Gary, but Patrick, you are right. No one is going to spend that kind of money to try and record on a sunken ship. You're right about that. But I wasn't trying to say about the sunken ship. I'm talking about listening to the screams, maybe being able to get them on EVP, maybe hearing voices in that area. Yeah, you know, you may be able to get something. The list continues to grow, Gary. You're right about that one, Lara. But the thing is this, we only seem to do places like Alcatraz, prisons, asylums, haunted homes. Why not go back to the battlefields? Why not go back to Gallipoli, Gettysburg, which a lot of people have done Gettysburg? Why not have they gone to the beach of when they first stepped on to see if you could pick up anything? The gas bloody camps, you know? Yeah, I'd like to see Zach Bagans Museum as well. I mean, if I became a millionaire, ladies and gentlemen, I know what I'd be doing for a whole year, and that's investigating worldwide. And if I had to spend money to get into places, then so be it. And if I had to spend money to get into Auschwitz, so be it. If it meant getting evidence, and that's what I'm after. That's what I've been after for 7 bloody years, is finding the truth. Do the Māori land wars here in New Zealand, Battle Hill and Wellington. The reason why I don't do Māori stuff, Lara, is simple, is because there's too much danger in it. Far too much danger in it. You see, I'm afraid of it being tapu'd. You have to ask the elders to get permission first. Okay? They're the ones you got to deal with, is the iwi. So you've got to go through all the paperwork, all the red tape, everything. Yeah, and 9 times out of 10, it's always no. That's why I will not deal with anything Māori. It's not because I don't want to, it's because of too much paperwork that you've got to go through.
You've got to go through it now, even for my time.
Patrick Clark, you say, or underground tunnel systems for an old prison. Laugh out loud. Isn't that right, Gary? You know, there are so many places. I mean, I would love to go to the Coromandel or down to Alexandria to the old gold mines. The old gold mines that nobody uses anymore. And do an investigation in them. You know, that's where the name Tommyknockers actually came from. Was that if you heard in the gold mines that weren't being worked on anymore, if you heard the old gold diggers digging away, you knew that there was trouble. They classed them as Tommyknockers. And if you heard them, you got the hell out. Have it blessed. It's not up to me to have it blessed, Lara. It is up to the iwi. And a lot of the times, iwi will say no. There's danger everywhere. You need to get consent from local iwi. That's correct, you do. A lot of the times they won't allow you to do it for whatever reason. And I respect that. With all my heart and soul, I respect that. Gary, you say, oh, the good old days, Patrick. I wish I still had those videotapes. I'm guessing you two are mates. Sorry about that. The thing is this, there is so much here in my own country of New Zealand, of Aotearoa, that I could go to investigate. But the thing is this, a lot of the times here in New Zealand, they're too close-minded. They don't want to know. As long as they don't know about it, it doesn't bug them. Tammy, you say the 3 knocks. Exactly, the 3 knocks. Once you hear that, you know you're in the shit. But I would love to go in to an old gold mine that has already been worked on, done and dusted, and do an investigation there. Get EVPs, get evidence that the old gold miners of the day are still working their mines. There is so much history, not only here in my own country, in my own beautiful country, but there is so much history throughout the world. Gary, you say we were in the army together. Here's the Tongiwai disaster. I know, Mum. No. So much history throughout the world. It's whether we are allowed as paranormal investigators get that permission to go in and investigate. Really, I hear 3 knocks a lot above my bed. Well, that's where the Tommyknockers apparently originated from, Gary, was within the gold mines. If you heard the three knocks, it was the Tommyknockers, they used to call them. And if you heard those three knocks, you knew disaster was going to happen. And so, dude, if you're hearing those knocks, you need to get an audio and you need to ask questions. You need to get answers to why you're hearing those knocks, brother. Exactly, Tammy. He needs to investigate. So anyway, we've gone through the Rougarou tonight. We have found out that all it is just a story. It is a garbage story. It was made up in France. They migrated from France to Quebec, Canada, from Quebec, Canada to Louisiana, and from Louisiana to New Orleans. But people need to realize that, oh yeah, and then Nene said that it was in our Tararua Hills. So there you go, Nene, time to investigate in the Tararuas. So it's come over here, Gary. But anyway, on serious thoughts, there are people out there that are going to make stories up and they're going to put them in the paranormal basket, and we're going to find it. We're going to scrutinize it. We're going to rip it to pieces to see if it's true or if it's false. Well, tonight we found out that the Rougarou is actually false. Lara and Nene, I want to know what you get in Tararuas. Patrick Clark, you say go to Savannah, GA. That entire city is super haunted. Now, Patrick, I have actually heard stories that that is the most haunted city in all of America. That is a place I would love to investigate, but I am stuck here in New Zealand. Until I can win lotto, I'm not going nowhere. But I am going to write up a list, and my brother Gary, he's going to give me numbers so I can crunch them and see what I can do to get over there. So we've come to the end of our night. Larry just said there's an abandoned gold mine town, Shantytown in the west coast. That's down south. Yeah, we'll see. I need to get down there. Thanks for the good laugh. Enjoyed the topic tonight, and we will let you know what happens with Dogman and Tararua. Hey, if it's a female Nene, you need to wax it down. We've got to find out what it looks like underneath all that hair. Some hairy beast she is in the Tararuas. Man, I don't know. Lillian, good evening. We're about to finish up. So, sorry you missed a wonderful show. It was a freaking good one. But I'd like to thank you all for being here. Thank you so much for sharing the night with me. I hope the rest of your night is a pleasant one and that the Rougarou doesn't come and visit you. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a website. We have changed our website and we have actually put some EVPs onto our website. Please go and check it out. It is called paranormalhauntingsworldwide.com. That is paranormalhauntingsworldwide.com. I've actually put some EVPs on there. We still have a lot of work to do on our website. We also have a donation button. Now, I am going to keep pressing this because I need your support, not just here, but I need support financially to get a lot of equipment. Last night, I thanked one of our supporters, Lara Johnson, who donated money in, and we got a millimeter. So the more that goes in, the more we get. So I'd like to thank you all for your support. Please check out the website. That is paranormalhauntingsworldwide.com. Donate any amount. Any amount helps, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not asking you to donate thousands and thousands of dollars. Every little bit helps. So until tomorrow night, please stay safe. And study plenty of hidden sites. Gary, maybe you and Petra can get together, bro, and work out something for us. That'd be awesome. Lara, you say thank you and all you are the viewers. It was a funny night. Yeah, it sure was. Nene, amazing group. Lara Johnson, donate any amount, great or small, all adds up. Yeah, and it sure does. Even if it's just $20 from time to time. Exactly, Gary. So until tomorrow night, stay safe, stay warm, stay paranormal. I'm John Steamy, and good night.